Hello and welcome to the tutorial guide for using Feather, which is a single molecule force spectroscopy tool. So first we're going to talk about how to install dependencies for Feather. Here I'm going to be using Windows, but the process is similar in Mac. So first just open a browser and go to anaconda.com/download. This is just the easiest way to download a version of Python. If you have your own version of Python you'd rather use, you can do that as well. But if we just want to go from scratch, we want to click on the operating system, OS X or Windows. Those are the two that are supported. And then we'll just go down to the version of Python. And in our case, it's Python 2.7. That's what Feather is expecting you to have installed on your machine. So once the download's done, we can run it or open it in Macintosh. And you should see a prompt like this pop up. In Windows, you want to be sure to install for all users because there's a specific directory where Feather assumes the Python binary lives. You can change that if you want. After that, you're pretty much good to go. So whether or not you used Anaconda, we want to make sure that this will work. So assuming you have the code downloaded, here it's downloaded on the desktop. In Windows, you'll want to open a command prompt as an administrator, and in Mac, you'll want to open a terminal. Now we just need to get the directory, whatever directory we've put that code in. So here I've just put it on the desktop. And in the command prompt in Windows or in Terminal, we're going to go to the desktop since that's where the code is. We're going to go inside the code. And you should see something like this when you list the contents. So in our case, we're going to run a setup.py file. So just to make sure we have everything, and if there's any libraries that aren't installed, if you're using a custom Python, this will install those too. So here all I'm doing is typing in where the Python binary is, setup.py, and then install. So you can see the command is just the directory where the Python executable lives, setup.py, and then install. And this will just run and make sure whether or not you use Anaconda, everything should be good to go. And when it's finished, it'll look something like this. Great, so now we're fairly confident Feather has everything it needs. So starting up again in the app Python subfolder, just where in the app Feather folder there's an app Python subdirectory, we're going to run the same Python binary. Again, it'll be different if you're using Mac. You can just type in which Python, and we'll just type in the Python executable and then main_example.py. So this just runs an example with a single example file for Feather. And you should see something like this, where you see force versus time, and then there's vertical lines where Feather has found events. And you can change the data if you look in the code very easily. You can just load in different data. So how about via MATLAB? Well, starting off again, let's assume we have app Feather on the desktop. We'll go into the app MATLAB subfolder and then the Feather_example. So this is just showing you exactly how to use Feather. So we'll open it with MATLAB. You can see we're in this directory. We'll click Run, and just as the Python file went, we'll see a force versus time plot overlaid. And again, we can zoom in. If we wanted to run from a different directory in MATLAB, you can just edit this variable here, and it'll run the exact same way. How about with Igor Pro? That's the third language that Feather supports. So again, we have our app Feather folder in the desktop. We'll open up the main example IPF. Sorry, the main Feather IPF. And you can see here we're just loading in this PXP, which is included with the data. So that has essentially three waves: the time, the separation, and the force. So in the command window, we'll type in mod main Feather, which is the name of the module for the example. And then we'll type in main_windows. In Mac, you type in main_Mac. And what it's going to do is it's going to make sure you have Python working, and then it'll run. And you can see here the force extension curve pops up. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.